Okay. Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Thank you for stopping by today. The topic, as you may know from the title, is going to be on Candida. More so of what I've gone through with Candida, what I am going through with Candida, and restarting this whole cycle of no sugar, which is super fun. Anyway, let's get into it. So, what is Candida? Candida is basically an overgrowth of yeast in your stomach and in your gut, and it's not fun. It's supposed to be there, but you're only supposed to have a little bit. Unfortunately, it can get a little out of hand, and for me, that's what happened. This happens a lot of times when you take antibiotics, or you're highly stressed, or anything that will really throw off your internal gut flora. That's when it kind of sucks. And Candida runs wild. That's just putting it in really simple terms. For me, it was, I went through a period of not eating and putting my body under a lot of stress for about a year. And then I went from that to planning a wedding in South Africa, which was really stressful. And then I went from that to being so stressed out I was eating like gluten and dairy and sugar, what I really didn't eat much of beforehand, during that time of getting married and jetting off to my honeymoon. And I was generally happy, but I was just very stressed out and eating emotionally, and that was just throwing my system into this chaotic blah blah. So fast forward a couple weeks, after the wedding, after the honeymoon, I found out I had tick bite fever, which is basically like Lyme disease, but the South African version, and it makes you really sick, and I had to go on these really strong antibiotics. So not only was my digestive system already under a lot of stress because of everything I was feeding it, but also I threw in these heavy antibiotics, and I was already sick from flying and being tired and jet lag, so it was, my body was just being beaten to a pulp, basically. So I got one of these antibiotics, and I was in South Africa for about 2 more months, and I was sick with something every single week. Like, I had the flu, I was throwing up, I had a cold, I had Lyme disease, whatever you can think of, I had it within that 2-month span. So married life began out wonderfully. I mean, I was really happy, I was with my husband, but it just, that part of it was not so joyous. Because my husband was in South Africa and he has a South African citizen, he wasn't able to come back to America with me right away. So what we did was we got married in South Africa. We had the 2 months of marital bliss where I was sick every day, and then I flew back to America. I had also gained about 20 pounds, and I was always this like tiny little thing, and I had no idea what was happening to my body. I was so confused. I gained all this weight, and I didn't feel like myself, and I was just shocked as to what was happening and how it was feeling. So I decided to get healthy again. I started eating gluten and dairy free again. I started exercising almost every day, and I probably lost like 2 pounds in like a couple months. Like I looked exactly the same, I felt exactly the same, and I just didn't understand why. Fast forward again, I decided to go see my husband for Christmas, so I flew over to South Africa, and I had a friend who was diagnosed with the celiac disease, and he said, hey, if you're really feeling crappy, like, go see this doctor, just try it out and see what she says. So she ended up taking a blood test, and it's weird because she takes the blood test and it puts it on a little tile and zooms it up, and usually like you have this picture of like blood from biology class, and you're like, oh yeah, I know what it's gonna look like. Mine looked like a bloody like war zone. It was crazy. There was parasites in my blood. All my white blood cells looked like accordions, and like other ones that were like separated had like looked like little bites taken out of them. Like there was all these lines, and it was just like terrible. It looks like you gave your 2-year-old some paint and sprinkles and like some macaroni, and they just threw it all on a picture, and that's what my blood looked like. It was kind of scary. So she basically said that what had happened was, because I had this candida, it tore holes in the lining of my stomach, and that bacteria had gotten into my blood and was affecting my whole body. Really fun. I know it sounds great, but that's what happened. So she put me on a strict no sugar, no gluten, no dairy, low carb, low starch diet, which, I mean, you think of like, you know, meat and vegetables, and that's about it. It was meat and vegetables. I was also in another country where I was not familiar with different brands and what I was eating, and the healthier options were extremely expensive. I'm not gonna pay $20 for a jar of almond butter just so I can like savor that for a couple days. Like, I just couldn't do that. So I was eating very plainly. I was eating some very boring food, and to put it on top of it, it was Christmas time. So I think there was probably like Christmas Day or Christmas Eve where I ended up having some of this like homemade bread and then like a couple things like that where I really enjoyed it because I had not eaten sugar or dairy or anything like that. Still made me feel crappy. So I was on this Candida diet for 3 whole months, and it took all my willpower. Like, by the end I was just like, well, I just guess I'll never have ketchup again, and I guess I'll just never eat a banana again, only like have a piece here and there. No. By the end I like realized, okay, I have some freedom. Because when you're over with the Candida cleanse, like, everybody's different, so I'm not suggesting that you go eat a ton of sugar or do this or do that. Everyone's different. Sometimes you can go back to eating dairy, sometimes you can go back to eating gluten, sometimes you can eat a lot of sugar. It all depends on you, and it's just like a constant experiment. I highly suggest seeing your doctor and asking their opinion, but for me, I was like, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have a 12 banana smoothie. Just kidding. It wasn't 12 bananas. But I would have these victory smoothies, or I would have so many bananas. Like, you can ask anyone that was around me at the time. I literally would just like have a freezer full of frozen bananas just so I could like make ice cream for breakfast, because technically I wasn't on the Candida diet and I could have bananas now, and it was dairy and gluten free and refined sugar free, so I was like living the high life with these banana ice creams in the morning. So I did that for a little while. I kind of scaled back. I tested a few different things, and I was pretty balanced, I think, for a while besides the smoothies. And it's been almost 3 years now. Actually, it's been about 2.5 years since I last did a Candida cleanse, and I have really been feeling it lately. Within the last year, I've been on antibiotics twice, which I really try to avoid at all costs. So like, I really needed them. So I had the antibiotics, and I can tell, like, I can totally tell the difference in how I've been feeling lately. Whether it be like how my skin is looking, my irritability, like how much I blow, how easy it is for me to put on weight. Like, I try to exercise and eat healthy like as much as I can, and I still have been gaining weight, and I just don't know what's been going on. Like, so I am diving right back into the Candida cleanse. Today was my first day, with like no preparation involved, which I don't suggest. If you're going to do the Candida cleanse, don't jump right into it. Take some time, make a plan, know what you're doing, and kind of just mentally prepare yourself. And because I've done it before, I felt okay with just kind of jumping in, because I'd rather get the first like few weeks where like you really feel miserable because your body's detoxing, and you're getting off the sugar and all the caffeine and everything. So I figured, I was like, well, I might as well just do it now and get it over with. So this is me doing it now, getting over with it. But I do suggest taking at least like a week to just at least meal plan and try and get rid of all like the temptations in the house. Like right now I have a chocolate bar, and it's just sitting there waiting. I'm probably gonna give it away, but I still have to make that decision. Dan will eat it. My husband will eat it. But seriously, like, you have to prepare. If you don't prepare, you'll drive yourself crazy. So this is me. diving back into the Candida cleanse. I will be documenting it. I don't know how precisely, but I will be documenting it. I'll have it on my Instagram. I will be blogging about it. I will be doing this and giving you guys little updates. I'm not sure how often, but I will. I will let you know how it's going. So this is me sharing my experience and my journey with this Candida thing, so that if you have to try it, it's okay. Because you can watch me stumble through it and fail and succeed and do whatever, and not feel like you're alone, because you're not alone. Because there's another girl on YouTube probably right next to my video that's doing it. There's another girl on Instagram doing it. Your next door neighbor's probably doing it. I'm doing it. So let's do this together and just be okay with it. Like, another really important part of Candida is that stress can cause it as well. And stress can stop you from healing. So we just kind of gotta love it. We gotta enjoy it. And just realize that, like, hey, this is a really cool opportunity for me to feel amazing. Crappy before amazing, but amazing. So, let's do this together. I hope you enjoyed this video, and there will be more to come. Thanks, and have a good one.